guys, welcome back to another video. So today we'll be reviewing the 2015 HSD past paper. I apologize for the past paper looking pale, but I know we can see it, so let us listen to me and try to follow. All right, so question 1: the process by which living organisms get energy from their food is A, nutrition, B, respiration, C, excretion, and D, growth. So the answer is respiration, because that's definitely its definition, which is the process by which food is broken down to give energy. So question 2: which of the following organisms have cellular cell wall as a part of their structure? So we have I, fungi, 2, plants, 3, bacteria. So we already know that plants cell wall is made up of cellulose, so that's 1. Then bacteria and fungi, they really don't have a cellulose cell wall. So bacterial cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, while the fungi cell wall is made up of a substance called chitin. Chitin is very similar to the cellulose cell wall. Also, a key thing to note is that lower fungi, they actually do have a cellulose cell wall for the most part. Some of those fungi are oomocytes or oomocytes. So I would go with I and 2, so that is A. Question 3. So question 3: during osmosis, the movement of water molecules through the semi-permeable membrane continues until, so osmosis is the movement of water molecules from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration until it is evenly distributed. So A, the amount of water molecule is equalized on both sides. B, the hydrostatic pressure equals to the osmotic pressure. C, the osmotic pressure equals to the osmotic potential. D, turbidity and flaccidity are equal. So I would go with A, because I said it in the definition, the amount of water molecule is equalized on both sides. So number 4: the amount of energy in food chains decreases at each trophic level, because, so you have to think about a food chain now. I, there are less organisms. 2, respiration occurs. 3, the organisms are more active. So let's just think about what we know. So energy is lost in the food chain when the organism respire or excrete, or even if the biomass of the organism gets smaller, so they can also lose it as heat. So let us look at what we have. So we have respiration. So respiration occurs, so that's one of it. Then there are less organisms present. If you think about a food chain, the organism at the top or at the end of the food chain are usually less. And then 3, the organisms are more active. I don't think the organisms are more active would cause them to lose more energy. So I would go with I and 2, and that is A. I'll go with A. Question 5: microorganisms are an important part of the nitrogen cycle. Which of the following microorganisms contribute directly to nitrate buildup in the soil? So we have A, nitrifying bacteria, B, denitrifying bacteria, C, saprophytic fungi, D, nitrogen fixing bacteria. So the answer is A, nitrifying bacteria. So nitrifying bacteria will convert ammonium compounds to nitrite and then nitrite to nitrate. Question 6: which of the following foods would best prevent constipation? So the first thing is we have to know what constipation is, which is when you don't have free bowel movements or you cannot excrete feces. So A, chicken soup, B, vegetable rice and fish, C, fruit and vegetable salad, D, wheat bread and cheese. So the answer would be C, fruit and vegetable salad. So question 7: Which of the following reagents give a positive test for the main food present in a slice of baked potato? So we have A, burette, B, ethanol, C, iodine solution, D, Benedict. The answer is C, iodine solution. So the burette test is used to test for protein, ethanol is used to test for fats and oil, Benedict is used to test for sugars like glucose, reducing sugars. 8. Kwashiorkor is a deficiency disease caused by a lack of A, fat, B, protein, C, glycogen, D, carbohydrate. The answer is B, protein. So question 9. Items 9 refer to the following diagram, which shows the structure of a typical tooth. So that's the structure of a tooth. So the actual question now, which of the parts labeled A, B, C, D supplies the tooth with food? So the first thing you have to know, what is A? So A is the enamel, B looks like the dentine, C is the pulp cavity. So the answer, and D looks like the cement, if I'm not mistaken. So the answer would be C, because C would have the blood vessels, which would supply food, oxygen, and remove carbon dioxide. Question 11. So items 11 to 10 refer to the following diagram, which shows a part of the digestive tract of a human. As usual, we move to the question. So in answering question 10 to 11, each option may be used once or more than once or not at all. So 10. Which organ secretes a substance which neutralizes the hydrochloric acid? So for number 10, we have to look at the diagram. The answer would be A, because A is actually, I was saying A is actually the gallbladder, and the gallbladder have the bile, which would help to neutralize this hydrochloric acid, which is the stomach acid. So now, question 11, which organ is responsible for the digestion of protein only? And if you look at the diagram, that would be C, because C is the stomach. So 11, so number 12. Which of the following are properties of enzyme? So they work best at a particular pH, that's I. 2, they are not affected by temperature. 3, they work on only one substrate. So the answer would definitely include I. They work best at a particular pH. They are not affected by temperature. All enzymes are temperature specific, so that's out of it. And then 3, they work on only one substrate. So the answer would be I, and 3, that's B. So number 13, the process by which undigested food is eliminated from the body is called. So we have A, egestion, B, excretion, C, ingestion, D, deamination. So the answer is A, egestion. So number 14, which of the following combination shows the correct percentage of oxygen and carbon dioxide found in the lungs of a healthy person? So now we have A, 4% oxygen and 16% carbon dioxide. No. B, 16% oxygen and 4% carbon dioxide. C, 17% oxygen and 0.03% carbon dioxide. And then D, 21% oxygen and 0.03 carbon dioxide. The answer would be D, 21% oxygen and 0.03 carbon dioxide. So question 15. Climbing up a mountain, a group of hikers find that breathing becomes difficult. This is most likely because A, the air has less oxygen, B, they lose too much water by sweating, C, they become tired from the long walk, D, the temperature drops and the air is colder. So the answer is A. The air has less oxygen. So as you go up the mountain, you have less oxygen there. So 16. Which of the following properties of membranes are required for a rapid gaseous exchange? So I, moist, 2, thin-walled, 3, small surface area to volume ratio. So for gaseous exchange to happen, we need a moist environment. So that's okay. Thin-walled, yes, it must be thin-walled. So oxygen can be exchanged for carbon dioxide. So small surface area to volume ratio, no, it needs a large surface area to volume ratio. So I would go with A, I, and 2. Number 17. During respiration, the release of energy in a cell occurs when A, ADP is converted to ATP, ATP is converted to ADP, that's C now, ADP is converted to lactic acid, D, ATP and oxygen form oxyhemoglobin. So the answer is B, ATP is converted to ADP, that is adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy currency, is converted to adenosine diphosphate. So question 18. Items 18 refers to the following, which is this graph here. We have an increased risk of lung cancer, number of cigarette smoke per day. So now the question, which of the following can be deduced from the graph? So as usual, let us look at the graph just to know what we are looking for. So it is increasing. So there is a higher risk, so the risk is increasing, and then the number of cigarettes that the person smoke is also increasing. So let us see. So as the number of cigarettes smoked per day increases, the risk of getting lung cancer increases. That's A. B. As the number of cigarettes smoked per day increases, the risk of getting lung cancer decreases. That's B. Then C now. When 30 cigarettes are smoked per day, the risk of lung cancer increases 10 times. And then D, as the number of cigarettes smoked per day decreases, the risk of getting lung cancer increases. The answer would be A, because it said everything that we just said when we look at the graph. Guys, look at the graph. Question 19. Why do we need a transport system in the human body? I, to transport substances from one part of the body to another. 2, to produce hormones for coordination of body processes. 3, to protect the body against diseases. So we have to think, why do we need a transport system? I, to transport substances from one body part to another. That's true. To produce hormones for coordination of body processes. No, because it uses the word produce. And 3, to protect the body against diseases, because the lymphocytes are transported via the transport system to fight against disease. So it's I and 3, that's B. So question 20. Items 20 refers to the following diagram of the human heart. So 20, which labeled part, contracts to pump blood around the body? That would be C, which would be the left ventricle. So 21. Item 21 refers to the following diagram of a cell. Then it asks us, the diagram most likely represents A, liver cell, B, phagocytes, C, lymphocytes, D, red blood cell. So for question 21, you have to look at the diagram. So the answer would be B, the phagocyte. As you can see, based on the shape, it's not regular, so it's shaped this way so it can engulf bacteria. So 22. Capillaries have very thin walls which have only one layers of cell. This is to allow A, rapid diffusion of gases and glucose, B, slow diffusion of gases and glucose, C, rapid diffusion of proteins and fats, D, they made a mistake, so they should be D, slow diffusion of protein and fats. So for 22, the answer is A. rapid diffusion of gases and glucose. So 23, which of the following vitamins assist in the process of blood clotting? So we have A, vitamin A, B, vitamin B, C, vitamin D, and D, vitamin K. So for 23, the answer would definitely be D, vitamin K. So items 24 refers to the following diagram which shows parts of the human skeleton. So let us go down. So which of the following combinations correctly identify the bone labeled X, Y, and Z? So we have to look at the bone. All right, so we're looking at the bone. So X, if we look at it, X has to be the femur. All right, so X is the femur, and then Y is pointing at the bigger bone. All right, so Y is the tibia, and then Z, the smaller bone, is the fibula. So that would be B, femur, tibia, fibula, in that order. So 25. Item 25 refers to the following diagram of a human arm. Which of the following occurs when the arm is bent or flexed? A, the biceps pulls on the radius. B, the tricep pulls on the ulna. C, the scapula is pulled down. D, the triceps shorten. So we have to know what happens when we flex the arm. So now, if we look at the diagram, we have to look at it. So they have the triceps, the biceps. So the answer would definitely have to be A, because the bicep is going to pull on the radius whenever the arm is flexed or bent. So question 26. Which of the following connects muscle to bone? So we have A, tendon, B, ligament, C, muscle, D, cartilage. So the answer is tendon. 27. Which of the following allows movement in all directions? So we have A, knee, C, ankle. A, knee, B, ankle. You see that it showed me off. C, elbow, D, shoulder. So the answer would be D, the shoulder, because the shoulder would have the ball and socket joint, and that would allow movement in all planes. So 28. Which of the following sets of constitution is found in the urine of a healthy person? So we have A, urea, glucose, and water. B, salt, urea, and protein. C, urea, salt, and water. D, protein, salt, and glucose. So the answer is C, urea, salt, and water. So 29. Liam notices that his face is flush red after playing football. Which of the following causes his face to be flushed? So we have A, insulation, B, evaporation, C, vasodilation, D, vasoconstriction. The answer is C, vasodilation. All right. So we're at the end of the first part of our 2015 review paper. Please stay tuned to see the second half. I'm your host, Ms. Brian Kim. Please also go check out our CXC revision biology paper, and also check out our CXC revision session on the syllabus. See you guys soon.